Well, it's time to tee off on Public Course Golf. You've arrived just on time for your tee time. This is your boy Peach.
Mikey.
We're ready to go.
Welcome back to episode 3 of Public Course Golf Podcast. Hope you guys dig the last 2 episodes. We'll leave them linked in the description box down below. But we are excited to jump back in. Yeah, we're getting so close to golf season.
Yeah, the snow's finally melting. It was like almost 50 degrees maybe. There were still some guys ice fishing today.
There was, and it was like a weird little tease of like, do we try it one more time? But how many times did we do that though?
Well, probably our luck we'd fall through the ice before we caught a fish. So
collapse
and
through.
catch a fish as we go in the water with our bare hands. Like
right.
Real men. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, fishy.
You sound like Tim the Two-Man Taylor. Well, we kind of left off the last time, we were talking about, what it's like to play best ball and different games you play on the course and, how much that public course allows for that to happen. And some of your best memories happen from that. And Mike asked some questions about what you'd prefer, if you'd like to go for it or you like to lay up or if you...
you like to drink, you like to not
drink, how you approach things. And, these public course events kind of, they force you to think of those decisions, but that's what makes it fun.
So kind of segueing from the stuff we talked about with like with the best balls and some of the games, you were telling me about a really cool game that I think people would really like.
Yeah.
So there's always the games within the games.
Yeah, because you play the same golf course a lot of times, and you never really get tired of it because you probably never even hit it to the same spot every single time. And if you do, you probably don't hit the same shot from that spot every time. So it always presents something new, but it's fun to do, like you say, games within the games. So, by the way, when you wear a bucket hat, your voice sounds way louder all around you.
All comes up and then down.
It's like, I can hear my voice, and, it's, that's interesting. So, bucket hats, Puma Golf.
I like that bucket hat a lot. I'm going Cove today.
Cove, Wedgwood Cove. Shout out Wedgwood Cove, just down the road.
Donnie and the gang are home course.
Home course, ready to go. I saw that we've been playing at the simulator, ready to go.
Yep, getting ready.
But yeah, I heard this cool game, and I haven't tried it yet, but I think we should if we ever get a chance to. It's where you have a plastic Barbie. You bring that along on the golf course. You have that.
So then you have a Barbie.
You need to have a stuffed fish or like a plastic fish or some sort of fish item.
Okay.
Which we don't have because we never caught a fish.
We don't catch fish.
So we're going to have to buy one.
We'll have to get a Billy the Bass.
Yes. Yep. And then we'd have to also... you'd get like a woods animal, like a woodchuck or like a bear or a deer or whatever else lives in there. Was a rabbit or a squirrel.
Okay.
A stuffed squirrel. Even a squirrel that's been stuffed by a taxidermist by Paul's Taxidermy back in 1984.
He's got the stuff.
Yeah. Check out the videos from previous days. You won't understand that if you don't check out the other videos, but that should make you check out the other videos.
You'll see it. If you're an OG of the channel, if you're an OG of the Mikey Polis channel, you see, obviously, Paul's been in a lot of videos in the past. And
I'm quite honored.
And there's one reference of back when he was a taxidermist.
Back in '84 when I wasn't born.
It was back before the war. He did taxidermy. And I caught my personal record walleye.
And it's hung in Mike Peterson's
ice house.
But he just gave it to him.
I said, you know what? It's here.
I feel bad for you.
Feel bad we catch all the fish.
So he gave him that. What a nice gesture.
I'll give full transparency. If you didn't watch it, it's Mike's father's fish. I don't want to take credit for that beautiful fish. His dad caught it, and it's a beautiful thing. It's idolized in his ice house.
Check it out on Mikey Polis' channel. You can find it on there.
It's fantastic. Check it out. But anyways,
if you have a stuffed fish or something that looks like a fish, you have a Barbie doll, which you can find somewhere. And then if you don't steal it from any kids, though, and then if you could find it like a woodchuck or a deer, or I don't know why I say woodchuck. Where's woodchucks from? We didn't have woodchucks. Squirrels.
I mean, we do. Yeah. But
we got those 3 items.
Okay, you got those 3 items. Okay.
You're playing golf with your buddies, and if you're playing a course that has water, has sand, and has woods or some sort of like shrubbery, you could call woods. shrubbery.
And Barbies for the sand, like the beach.
Barbies for the beach. Yep.
Got
and
it,
you got fish for the water, and you have the
woodchuck
for the
woods. Got it.
Or shrubs or whatever you're playing. Like when we're playing Wedgwood, there's
you
not
go
a lot
into
of
the
woods.
grass.
Yeah. Yeah, the deeper grass.
Yeah.
That thick cut.
Like your grass.
This is turning into a really bad.
All right.
Yeah.
We'll
back to normal. Yeah.
All right. So here we go.
So if you have those 3 items, you're playing, and if somebody hits it in the water, they have to hold the fish and keep it with them, and they have to carry it. And it could be like a really big, obnoxious like fish. You could like get a big.
Just a big old bottlenose dolphin.
Yeah, and just carry it
over your shoulder.
And you have to set it on the grass, and you have to hit your next shot. And people are like, "Why is that guy carrying a dolphin?" and then the next person that hits in the water, they have to carry the dolphin, and they're carrying around this weird thing. And then if the next person hits in the sand, they have to carry the Barbie, and they have to set it. The rule is too. I remember this. You cannot conceal it. It has to be out in the open,
so everybody can see.
Everybody can see how embarrassed you are to carry a naked Barbie around. And then, if you hit it into the woods, you have to carry the woodchuck or squirrel or whatever you can have a stuffed animal that looks like it could be in the woods.
Yeah.
You have to have that on the grass or wherever you're at. And then by the end of the round, this will change hands probably, unless you're with a really bad golfer who just collects all 3. You could have all 3.
Yeah.
And then at the end, you just figure out what each one of those animals and items is worth as far as a drink at the bar.
Ooh,
and if you have
that'd be cool.
all of those or one of those, you have to pay for a round
for people to have those drinks.
Yeah, and then you could make drinks that associate with, like, you could have bourbon maybe with the woods, and you could have like some sort of
pina colada.
Yeah, with the beach, and you could have what are we missing? The
fish.
The fish, the water. It could be like a vodka, like a clear drink or something.
Yeah.
Again,
or if it's like Fountain Lake, do like a grasshopper, because it looks like grass.
It looks like grass inside. looks like algae. Yeah. Or you could just go out and drink from that lake and see what happens.
Ooh, that's your rule. You
might not live.
Know about that.
But it's kind of fun. Then you get back to the clubhouse, and the rule is too that you have to have, if you have that item, you have to sit at the bar with that item in front of you.
And
people, like these 50 or you could be 50 years old or older. That's not old because we're almost 40. Well, we're mid 30s, but you could be any age and have to have these items that are little kids items. So I think that'd be kind of fun. We haven't ever done that before, but I heard this game and I really think it would be when you talk about how golf makes you takes you down a notch.
Yeah.
Having to sit with a Barbie next to you while you drink your cocktail probably would take you down a notch. If you have a big old stuffed fish that you have to sit next to you as you're chipping from the fringe while somebody is watching you and thinking, what the hell's going on here?
That'd be fun. I think we should try that.
But on a public course, you can do that.
Yeah, right.
Because that's kind of accepted almost. I mean, people do all kinds of crazy things on a public course. Yeah.
That's odd. Do you guys? So if you guys have any ideas on some cool games that we could try, because once we get into doing, it's going to be fun as it gets a little bit nicer out here in Minnesota, and we can start to get outside to play golf. We're going to hopefully be filming some of these podcasts live on location. They won't be live broadcasted, but they'll be filmed on location at a couple golf courses. We have a few kind of potentially lined up here that we're going to be doing that with, and then going to play the course and getting out and kind of filming some content on these courses. We'll incorporate some of these videos and try to mix them in.
Yeah, so and then you got the ambiance of what we were just doing, and it would we could feature that place and kind of help build that brand too wherever we're at.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, essentially free marketing for these courses. So if you guys work at a golf course that you'd like to see featured on here, be sure to also drop that in the comments down below. But yeah, if you guys got game ideas, that'd be a lot of fun, I think, to try some of these different ones and get them on camera.
I'm sure there's a lot more outrageous ones than what I just said. It'd be fun to hear about.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. So with some of the courses that we're looking forward to get out and play, there's one in particular, my personal favorite public course. I'd say actually I have kind of a couple of them, but I think my number one course that I played that's a public course is in the Wisconsin Dells. It's called Trapper's Turn, and it's a 27-hole course. And there's each 9 holes is themed a different thing. There's like Canyon, which has my all-time favorite hole on it, that one I showed you the picture of and told you about. There's one that's like lake, so a lot of water.
Well, it looked good in the fall, all the foliage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the Canyon one has probably my all-time favorite hole on it, and it's an elevated par 3. So your tee box is elevated, green's low. It's very deceptive how you're hitting it, but it looks like you should use like a 60-degree wedge and drop it up and down. But I actually teed off with a 3-wood, and you hit it, and it pretty much came here and then back down onto the green.
So it's kind of deceiving that the hole looks closer than what it actually is because you're so elevated?
Yeah, and it looks like it's right here. Like you'd be like, oh, if I hit a 3-wood, I'm going to bomb it past the green. But it's not at all, and it's so deceptive. But it's a public course. Anybody can play. It's Trapper's Turn in the Wisconsin Dells. That's my favorite. Pretty much my course and hole. There was a course I played the Wilds every year, which is a nice course once for a tournament. And there was one I played up near Emily, Minnesota. I forget the name of it. That was a really pretty course too. But I think Trappers takes the cake for me. What about you? What's your favorite?
Well, I'll go one far away or farther away and one in Minnesota. I'll go with, there's one called Red Hawk Ridge, and it's in Colorado. And some people say it's the best public course in Colorado. They kind of advertise that as that they're almost like the write-ups about that course say that. But it's in Castle Rock, Colorado, which is kind of near where my in-laws live. And so I've gotten to play this course one time with my wife, and it was just beautiful because there's these when you're in Colorado, first of all, the ball travels farther because of the thin air. And that's always nice when you maybe hit it 240 on a normal and then you hit it 280 all of a sudden.
Right.
And you think, what happened here? But it's awesome. And then also, it's picturesque. There's mountains nearby. You can see them off in the distance. The rolling foothills are closer and you can see them. So basically any hole you're playing, you can see that in the background. And it's very well kept. Almost like a private course would be well kept. But it's kind of expensive to play, but if you play it on the right time, they have deals, and it was so fun to play that course. I just remember being, the elevated parts of things when you come down at things is really cool because you feel like you're looking at the mountains off in the distance, and it's almost like it's deceiving, like you feel like you're as tall as them, even though of course you're not.
Yeah.
But that's what you're when you're looking straight ahead, that's what you see, and then looking down is where you're going to the hole, and I can't remember which hole it was, but it was kind of near the clubhouse. It was really, really pretty to play that, and it was just fun to play somewhere other than Minnesota, and getting out and doing that.
There's something about, for some reason, like whatever state you're from, like us obviously being from Minnesota, but there's something about playing at a course that you travel to play.
Yep.
It's the same thing with like skiing, and like when you travel from here to go skiing or snowboarding out west or snowmobiling somewhere else. There's always something so fun about, especially playing golf in a different state, in terrain that you're not used to.
Yeah, and just the environment, you say, and then you experience the beauty of that. Like when people go hiking places, or they go like when you talk about, you read in even in school, like when you read about the terrain or the climate of another place, when you play golf, you kind of get a snippet of that. Like you get to be within that climate, or that vegetation, or that type of grass, or whatever it is, that type of air, or the ambiance, or the environment, or the whatever's in the background. When you see, what's that called? When you see the background. I'm trying to say,
like the backdrop.
Yeah, the backdrop of whatever you're at. And you kind of get that. You kind of get to feel what Colorado is, for instance, just by playing a golf course. And of course, that's not what all Colorado is. But if you played that course, you could say, "Yeah, I experienced maybe a touch of what Colorado is."
That's
another course that I just thought of right now. I shout out to Casey McFarland. I went to his bachelor party in Arizona. We played a course in Arizona. I think it was a public course because we got to play it. So I don't know how else we wouldn't have.
Right.
And I remember, playing a course in Arizona, just with all the cactuses around and stuff. And the fact that if you somebody in that group of people bumped into a cactus and moved it, and they had to quick move it back because, of course, I think it's a rule you can't bump into a cactus. They're protected.
I think it's a pretty big fine if you do any disruption of a cactus.
I think it didn't. There was no dents or anything, so they just got to move it back. I think if you report it, if you make
actually damage it.
And then I remember on that same hole, it wasn't my cart that hit it, but you think about the last episode, the fact that I drove my Sun Classic right off the road into the water, you'd probably assume that it was me that hit the cactus. But I did hit a ball into a cactus that was higher up, and it just stayed there. It probably
Just
still there to
stuck
this day. Yeah.
That'd be fun to go back and see if it's still there.
Well, I don't know what the rules are. I guess I probably should have checked the rule book to see like what penalty that is, or if it's just a reshot. But
you probably got a warrant out for your arrest right now. Now that somebody from Arizona is going to watch this, Joey, you're going to probably be watching this. Don't turn PJ into the people of Scottsdale, please.
You know, I'm sure there's a lot more out there, and there's probably things that we've played that we can't even remember at this moment. But
yeah. Mm-hmm. So if you guys have any that you like, that we like trying different courses as well. So again, drop those down below. I think one very sneaky, underrated hole, one of my favorite ones that is local. I think, but it's for some reason there's something about it that I really like, especially since I think they cleared the trees, is the par 3 at Wedgwood that butts up to the lake in the back.
Oh,
so
yeah.
Let's see, it'd be 10,
Where's
11, 12, 13, 14. Because 13 is the one where we tee off into the...
Is that one where I've hit it in, where we recently hit it in the spot we never hit before?
That's the hole before.
Okay.
So there's that par 4 before, and then it's the par 3 in the back corner. The one, my hole in one, or almost hole in one, where it hit the flag and stopped hands width away.
Yes, I remember that.
So it's an elevated tee box kind of down. The green is almost like positioned like this. So you're elevated, and then coming into the green like this, and then you got the full lake in the background.
What is it with elevated being above the green? That's kind of, maybe that's... There's a common theme here. We've said that like several times already.
Right. I feel like each hole like,
that we like is when you get to be above and there's water.
I think it's that you can see your full shot like execute. Mm-hmm. So you get, there's especially when if the green's elevated, then you can't see how it lands and rolls, and like that last year. So it was right towards the end of the year. It's the second closest I've been to a hole in one, and. You could watch the entire shot, almost track it all the way in. You could see it land, roll, and I think that's the cool part. And water, being from Minnesota, I feel like anything really water related is.
Well, and I think that's what Minnesota has. Like when I said Colorado has the mountains as the background or the backdrop, and you can see that when you're playing.
Or the cactuses in Arizona.
Yeah. Like that's when I was saying like you get to kind of experience that area by playing golf. So you could go on a hike, or you could go sightseeing in your vehicle, or you could go on a guided tour of whatever, or you could play golf and see all of that same kind of environment and feel like you've experienced it. Yes. Yep.
Yeah. So, all right. So segueing.
That's when you wait for your segue. Those things you ride up and down. So there's a segueing line.
So you're in the segueing line. Yep. So now, changing gears here from favorite course. Do you have a specific hole or course that stands out that is the worst that you've played?
It's hard because I think we were talking about this, because playing golf and being out and about, it's basically any hole we'll play and it's going to be okay. Yeah, right. Because you're out playing golf and you love it, you know? And sometimes the worst holes present a different set of challenges that make it kind of fun. But there are... we just talked about the grandiose holes we just talked about in other courses. There's ones that don't rank nearly like that.
Yeah.
So I would say, I grew up in southeastern Minnesota, and there's a hole on the Chosen Valley Golf Club that I'm not sure. I haven't played it in the past 3 or 4 years, but when I played it in high school, I think it's hole 3, and it goes across the parking lot. Which seems like, and the entrance to the parking lot, but then so it goes over the entrance to the parking lot, but still
you're hitting over vehicles
because the vehicles spill out close enough where
if somebody's driving, what if you're gonna hit and somebody just drives in
But even so, when you look at your course and you can see in your peripheral, here's the fairway and it extends this much, and there's trees that line either side if there's trees, or there's taller grass like at Wedgwood, But this hole has got cars and then a road over here. So it's cars or road, and the cars are close enough that if you don't get good connection right away, and let's say you pull it like you got an inside pitch in baseball and you just smoked it.
Yeah.
And if you come in, you can smoke a car.
Have you hit a car?
I have not hit a car, but I almost did. I've had it. It's a gravel driveway parking lot, So of course it's kind of like the ball hits the gravel and you
don't know where it's gonna go.
Yeah. And I've had it hit over a vehicle, but I saw my life flash before my eyes when I hit it.
Bounce one off the back of somebody's BMW.
And it's like, okay, what's the rules there? Because they chose to park there. But, I mean, you don't have to hit a bad shot to hit the car.
Yeah.
It's not like you have to, like, turn
Shank
backwards.
it.
Yeah. Not like a shank it. It's shout out shank it golf.
He's right.
Yep. But it's not shanking it. It's just hitting it to the right a little bit, and the cars are in play.
So mine, I think my worst course that I played actually isn't around anymore. And maybe that's an ode to...
You?
Maybe an ode to the story itself, but I played with my buddy Nick. We went to a course in Medina, Minnesota, just northwest of the Minneapolis area, and it was a town course in Medina.
Not Edina. Medina.
These guys will get mad if I think it's in Edina. Nope, it's got an M. Medina. And it was a course that we had paid for the 18 holes, and we actually quit. I don't think I've ever walked outside of this one time. I've never walked out on a golf course, but there was tire tracks across some of the fairways. It's like they had started some construction and then never finished construction. So you had like mud pits and dirt pits, and places didn't have grass. It was like hitting off concrete. It was an absolute dog track of a course. So we left after 7 holes. But then I remember, I don't know if it was a year or two later, I never even thought about going back. But a year or two later, we were traveling past it to go somewhere else. And I saw there was an apartment complex there now. And it's right over the top of it. So maybe they let it go because they knew they were going to be...
they weren't going to make it or
they
something?
They weren't making it,
yeah.
So they quit maintaining it. And we just happened to fall in the last maybe month they were open or something. But that place was an absolute dog track.
So did you leave it because it wasn't fun? Or was it because you could get hurt, or because your clubs or your things get ruined, or was it a combination of all of them?
It was a combination. And it was... Clubs actually was a big one.
Yeah.
I had some newer clubs at the time. And like I said, you were hitting off of such unmaintained ground where it was so hard.
Yeah.
And didn't want to ding up the clubs.
Yeah, well, I mean, those things are expensive. You can't... they're not designed to play... There's a reason why you play golf in grass.
Right.
Yeah.
And this place had very little grass for being a golf course. And so it's kind of a combination of that. It really got to be, you were worrying so much about on your cart, how you were going to get over here and drive here or even walk. So it was it took the fun out of it, which is hard to do, to take the fun out of golf.
Because like we were saying before, it almost some of the inconsistencies about golf courses make that challenge kind of fun.
Yeah.
Like I was saying about the with the parking lot. Yeah, it was poor placement of having a parking lot, and yes, I was worried I was going to dent a car back badly, but it still was okay, here's how I'm going to try to get around that.
Yeah.
Like when you play off in the woods, it's sometimes it takes the anxiety out of it. I only have this much to go. I might as well just hit my 3-wood really low and see what happens.
Yeah.
There's that part of golf that's fun, but if it's not,
and it took
but
away,
it doesn't ruin your clubs, and it does not. You still have other times where there's something about the beauty of the course. If you're just going out and sweating and playing something that's not fun, I don't think that's good.
And that's the only time it's ever happened in my full playing career, I guess you could say, my life of playing. I think it's the only time I've ever left, but it got to be too much. Mm-hmm. It was, like I said, you were worrying too much about this, and the greens were
shout
crap,
out to greenskeepers out there then. I mean,
I
know they do a lot. Those people
to maintain, especially in, we'll say, Minnesota, where you got a really harsh winter, you got then a rainy season, and you deal with
mud season,
yeah,
and then you get dog poop season,
yeah, which is a big chunk of it.
Yeah, right now my backyard looks like it is just dog poop, and there's grass kind of in there. And then
looks like a new construction yard.
And then there's the various colors, because my dog Harmon likes to eat socks and throw them up and poop them out. And there's pink and purple and yellow, and it's just all the colors of the rainbow.
There's a rainbow back there.
The groundskeepers have to do so much to keep these courses nice. It when you have a drought, and we've had that happen before where it's been so dry. And
well, I feel like even early last year.
Yeah.
I mean, even a good chunk of last year, everything was really dry.
Was it last year or the year before when it was really dry? Was it the year before that?
Maybe it was 2 summers ago.
Yeah. Yep.
It was really, really dry.
Yeah,
everything was really hard. Even for how well Wedgwood stays and how good of a job they do. I mean, there's only so much you can do with a lack of rainwater and ponds are low. I got a couple questions.
Yeah.
So terrain-wise, like that, has there been a shot you've had to play you can remember or recall that has been like...
I can think of a few on our simulator where I shot like 5 times out of thick grass or whatever it was, and it moved like an inch,
3 inches.
Yeah,
I think you went 7 inches in 3 shots,
and
that was on a simulator.
Yeah, so they didn't really give me a lot of information about what I was exactly in or how deep or what the terrain was. But
yeah,
I mean, I guess I could have looked it up maybe with some of the buttons or whatever. But we were just playing. So,
right.
But yeah.
So in real life, can you recall kind of one of the craziest shots or spots you've had to hit out of on a golf course?
Yeah, and it could be because the golf course has been intact, or if it's because of the whatever the environment has caused it to be.
Yeah. That
caused you to then hit out of a weird spot.
Yeah, hit out of that crazy. Yeah. So you're hitting off of like those water pods. Those have been weird. Like you're not supposed to, I don't think, hit off of them, but I think they want you to kind of take a drop off of them. But I think that's a good transition into overall what is kind of the craziest shot / thing you've seen happen on a golf course.
And
if you have something in particular.
With public golf courses, you might see more than probably at a private, and so because there's maybe more leeway into what people might take challenges to do, right. Or what causes what
you get people that have a little more liquid courage on a public golf course. And so I can think of mine was at it was the wrestling golf tournament that we mentioned in last week's episode, talking about the having some cocktails and stuff. We only had a few holes left, but we had started on it would have been probably hole 4 because we had made our loop and we were coming back, and this was the first tee. And I think
of the hole of the course.
Of the course.
Yeah, but not in your first
1.
tee. Yep.
But I think we had maybe 3 or 4 holes left. But
yep.
So we were all standing around the tee box, and a couple greens converged in this one spot. So we were all standing there as then we're teeing off. And my buddy Zach was on his phone at, I don't know, maybe a 45-degree angle from the tee box, but probably 15 yards away. Zach's standing on his phone like this. So then Trent tees off, and he hits it off the toe of his driver. And we're not, we're 15 yards away, and Trent's a strong dude. Tees off the toe of the driver. The ball comes off the club head and hits Zach square on his sternum of his chest as he's sitting on his phone like this. Bounced off the sternum of his chest. Then all of a sudden, this was his only reaction though. He took a full driver off the chest, a ball. And he literally all of a sudden goes, "The hell was that?" And goes like this. I mean, if you guys know Zach, he's looks like a WWE wrestler.
But that's the problem with technology these days.
Yeah, right.
Kids don't even know when they take a golf ball to the chest.
He didn't even know. What the hell is that? And I remember I actually fell over onto the ground laughing. And of course, it's in front of 20, 30 people. And it was, I mean, he's lucky. Another foot higher hits him in the face and bounce off the top of his skull.
Oh my gosh.
But I think that's probably one of the craziest things I've seen happen. I do have one other one. And it's the same tournament.
What's with this tournament?
So this was a different year.
Yeah.
But this one, I won't say his name. But you know who you are. And everybody who we're with know exactly who you are. But we had one hole left. He had no shoes or socks on. Okay, this is the last hole. And we actually started on 1, so we were ending on 18, oddly enough. He had no shoes and socks on. And he teed off so hard and swung so hard that he didn't hit the ball, but he brought himself fully around, missed the ball, but his momentum brought him all the way up that his feet came off the ground, and then he turned and landed face first with his feet in the air and almost scorpioned himself backwards. And then just laid face down. But he never touched the ball. Stayed on the tee. That's the same tournament. So it's, as you can tell, that's why it takes.
Does that count as a stroke? It doesn't, I don't think.
No, he didn't touch the ball.
Yeah.
Just like a practice swing. So do you have a specific event or thing you've seen, crazy shot maybe that you've seen happen on a golf course?
Yes, my own shot at Wedgwood. Surprise, my own shot at Wedgwood. There was this flock of some sort of big birds. I'm not sure what they were called.
They almost looked like...
They were like cranes or something.
Like cranes or egrets or...
They were like peregrine falcons or something like that. Pterodactyls or something like that. There's a flock of them.
And they were huge.
They were huge. They were huge birds, and they were probably 200 and some yards away. And I drove a pretty good shot, and they didn't move. But then we were pretty sure because my ball landed like 90 degrees to the left.
And they were this way.
Yes.
So the drive went like this.
To them.
And then ended up
And then they all flew away.
Except one.
And we're pretty sure that I nailed one of those birds. I'm pretty sure that I nailed one of those peregrine falcons or those...
You took it off of its body. Because then it didn't fall over.
No, it just kind of stopped and it just froze.
So I think he sent it into a shock.
Yeah, and I gave it a concussion. Several.
So PETA, again, leave us alone. Don't watch this episode, PETA. Or the last one.
I don't feed my dog socks. I don't hit birds on purpose.
What did we talk about last week? We talked about one last week.
Yeah.
Something where PETA, leave us alone.
Leave us alone. But we don't have anything against animals. We
love animals.
We love animals, but we also do eat meat. Sorry. But yeah, I smacked one of those birds. I'm pretty sure I stunned it. Yeah. And I don't know if it's
because he flew away. He flew away,
but not right away though.
No, it took him a good.
The other ones were like, "Oh my god, watch out for the golf ball." The other one's like stunned, like it was tasered. And my golf ball was like 30 yards to the left.
I remember that because I remember we looked at the ball and we were like, "Well, there's no way that this."
We kept looking for the ball next to those birds. We kept looking for it, right?
And we were like, "There's no way that the golf ball over here is yours." But then that one bird didn't move. He just stood there.
And it was my golf ball.
It was.
Yeah. I think it was a Callaway warbird.
Yeah. And this one of those that we were talking about earlier.
That was a warbird that I hit. I gave me like 30 yards distance because it put me back in the middle of the fairway.
It like ended up, I remember it.
I wanted to ask that bird if he'd come along with me more often.
It's kind of sitting in the back of the cart.
Just.
I remember it really dove hard. Mm-hmm. And then, it dropped you back in the middle.
Yeah.
So I think what is going to help us get better at doing that, though, is this week's episode of Tic Tac Toe.
Oh, yes.
All right. If this is the first episode of Public Course Golf that you guys have watched, we like to end our episodes playing a little round of Tic Tac Toe. So what we do is we set up on the other side of the room, we putt over, and if your ball lands in said spot, you get to put your tape mark down. We use tape pieces either this way or this way. And you try to get a tic-tac-toe. So this is going to help us hone in on our putting so we get a little bit better. So we can finish out our rounds with some strong putts. So with that, let's get to it.
In or out?
So by this one, I would say it's pretty close on. If you look at it on the camera though. If you look at it on the camera, it looks like it's out. But I don't know. I would say that's on the line.
I took your spot, the one that you always go past.
Right.
The one chance you have.
I'll blow by there. I'll blow by there, no problem.
You were trying to move the tic-tac-toe board back farther. That's going to be in one of them.
I think it's
in mine.
In yours.
See, I told you.
Damn it. Ooh.
Well, that's not going to help me.
That'll be an interesting way to get a
tic-tac-toe. I can't.
It's going to kind of just hurt me.
That's going to be good. Stay in. That count?
All right.
There we go.
Thank you.
You're in business.
Back in biz. So the bummer is though, it's not a
good spot.
No, I mean like it leaves me with.
One.
It's always nice to hit the middle or a corner or something.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I'm gonna put my tape this way. So we got one for PJ and my one right here. Ooh.
Stopped in that one, so now I can.
So you can get one. I got to stop in that corner.
Which would be good for you.
Which would be huge for me.
Because you can have this one.
Nope, way too hard.
Wait, but that'd be okay up the top one.
That'll cover that one.
So now it comes down to that one corner. It's all about the right corner.
So we'll do a quick little recap here. My tape goes this way, so I'm here and here. Obviously just need this one. But PJ is here, here, and here. He just needs this one. So it all comes down to that corner.
Oh, shoot.
Oh, you went heavy.
Oh, I went heavy.
You feel like
I thought I didn't even touch it. You're going to go heavy now. There it is. Oh, Mikey Polis.
There.
He wins.
It's like another round of men's league night. You play a fantastic round of golf, fantastic round of podcast, end it with a cocktail, end it with a beer in the bar afterwards. Thank you so much for watching today's episode, guys. If you click this little circle, that'll be right here on Paul's chest. It's a picture of my face, actually.
Yeah, it's actually a broken heart after I lost this Tic Tac Toe.
I had one last week.
Yeah.
And that's how we operate.
Yep.
So click that button if you want to subscribe to the channel. Click the little picture right here. It'll be the thumbnail for last week's episode. We'll also leave the... We'll also leave the link for the video for last week's episode in the description box below. You can catch it on Spotify and iHeartRadio. We will also leave those links down in the description box as well. So thank you so much for watching, guys. Hit that thumbs up button if you dig the video. We'll catch you on the next one, guys. Bye!